Hello, we're Alexander and Max, and welcome to our video on Indigenous Australia.
Aboriginal people represent the world's oldest continuous culture, dating back over 60,000 years. They consist of hundreds of nations with their own languages, traditions, and beliefs. Among them are the Eora people, the traditional custodians of the land on which Sydney now stands. When the British arrived in the 1770s, they declared the land terra nullius, or belonging to no one, even though the Eora had lived there for tens of thousands of years. Colonization brought conflict, dispossession, and disease, but the Eora and their culture endure.
Today, there are growing efforts to honor Indigenous culture through public art, restored place names, and the recognition of Aboriginal history. As newcomers to Sydney, we wanted to learn more about the Gadigal people, their customs, beliefs, and way of life, and how their deep connection to nature shaped their knowledge and traditions. To understand and learn more about the Gadigal people, me and Max went to the Australian Museum to get a glimpse of hundreds of years into the past when the Gadigal people ruled the lands of Sydney.
Serpents hold deep spiritual significance across many First Nations cultures. In Aboriginal belief systems, ancestral beings like the rainbow serpent emerged from a barren earth to shape its features, then returned to the land to become one with it. For the Eora people and other Aboriginal nations, these dreaming stories reveal the inseparable bond between nature and spirit. They show how ancestral wisdom, law, and spirits are embedded in the landscape. To them, country is not just a place, but a living teacher. For many groups, law and land are inseparable. Ancestral law sets obligations for sustainable harvesting, species protection, and safeguarding of sacred sites. This responsibility to care for country is not just cultural, but a core expression of humanity. Among the Gadigal people, this ethic was lived through restraint and respect. By taking only what was needed, they maintained balance with the natural world, ensuring abundance for future generations. By closely observing seasonal shifts, animal behaviors, and plant growth patterns, people learned how to live sustainably. Country taught that restraint was not deprivation, but wisdom.
The Gadigal people are known as saltwater people, identifying with Garigarang, which means sea country. Fishing, hunting, and gathering formed the foundation of their lives, but always in accordance with law and country, taking no more than was necessary and showing respect for the life they depended on. Through observation and experiential learning, the Gadigal developed highly specialized tools from natural materials: fish hooks fashioned from shell, knives from shark teeth, nets woven from plant fibers, and spears designed for fishing in local waters. These tools reflect not only ingenuity, but also a profound relationship with the sea and its rhythms.
Among Aboriginal peoples, knowledge is passed on through oral tradition, storytelling, song, dance, and ceremony. Elders, often called aunties or uncles, carry the responsibility of teaching younger generations, ensuring that cultural knowledge, laws, and values are preserved. Yet, this education is not confined to people alone. Country itself plays an active role in teaching. Songlines, which trace the journeys of creator spirits across the land, are more than stories. They are living maps, carried in song, that describe the location of waterholes, mountains, and pathways. By singing the land, people can navigate vast distances while also passing on law, history, and spiritual meaning. To follow a songline is to learn directly from country, by walking it, singing it, and engaging with it.
The Gadigal people are known for their artworks, ceremonies, and spiritual dances, which express deep connections to land and spirit. Being on country, especially at sacred sites, is understood as a healing and spiritual experience. Aboriginal art often tells dreaming narratives, explaining creation, ancestral journeys, and the laws of existence. Artists use traditional symbols and patterns passed down through generations to depict landforms, animals, waterholes, and spiritual beings. For example, concentric circles can represent campsites or waterholes. Wavy lines may show rain or rivers, and U-shapes often symbolize people or travelers. Meanings can vary across groups, but these symbols form a visual language that preserves and communicates cultural knowledge.
But aspects of Indigenous culture in Australia are not only in galleries or museums. Across Sydney, Aboriginal art is appearing in public spaces, even here on campus. The Aboriginal flag, with its striking red, yellow, and black, can be seen across the city. There's also been a strong movement to adopt Aboriginal names for locations or landmarks around the country. Uluru, once widely known as Ayers Rock, is now recognized by its traditional name. Moreton Island near Brisbane is also known as Mulgumpin. Here in Sydney, the best example is Barangaroo. Once an important fishing and hunting site for local Indigenous people, it was renamed in 2007 to honor Barangaroo, the wife of Bennelong, who was a key translator between Aboriginal communities and the first British colonists. A decade later, the Barangaroo Reserve was completed. Using 10,000 sandstone blocks and 75,000 native plants, the landscape was reshaped to mimic what it might have looked like before colonization. These initiatives don't just educate the public about Indigenous heritage. They reintroduce a deeper connection to country, weave Indigenous knowledge into everyday life, and support reconciliation by honoring First Nations custodianship of the land.
Throughout the history of colonial Australia, Aboriginal culture was consistently undermined. In more recent years, however, this trend has begun to shift. Elements of Indigenous culture are increasingly being recognized and celebrated in the Australian mainstream, helping to raise awareness of the land's first custodians, their traditions, and their enduring connection to country.
From the perspective of outsiders, Max and I have sought to learn and educate ourselves about Indigenous Australia. And now, hopefully, you have as well. We hope this has highlighted the vital importance of Aboriginal people to both Australia's history and its present-day culture, where land and people grow closer together by embracing nature as a teacher.